So then I know to get back in.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, that's what they do it as a feedback mechanism.
Yeah. And so for those of you that are listening here, if the sound's ever weird, it's because we use these types of mics because I like to look at people when I talk to them and just talk.
No, like this better because the whole thing makes it... When you're used to podcasting, that's fine. But I think for new people...
It's weird.
It's probably another layer of weirdness associated with...
And if you're me, your ears get really sweaty and gross.
Yeah, after a while you start to itch and everything. Yeah, it's not the most convenient thing for the person.
But so these ones, however, little podcast background for you guys, is if you, so that's why if we say something really loud, it just blows us out.
Yeah,
and if we're a little... How professional.
That's okay. Well, actually, we're going to keep this.
Oh, this is staying in.
This is staying. So you guys know what happened right now is Tyler did some kind of a weird mix to put the camera, which is a phone, over there. Then he had a battery attached to the phone and then because the couch is too low, he had to put two bags on top of the couch to put the battery on. But it happened that one of the bags is at a 45-degree angle. So at some point, both bags went down and the camera went down, the battery went down, everything went down.
I think we're back in business.
There you go.
But
so we might end up with this camera, is what we're saying.
Let me touch this up. So that's how...
I'm kind of upset because that's my angle that he's fucking with on that one.
So I got to get it right.
Yeah, because now that's Tyler's camera. And that one over there is Julian's camera, and that's the one he took down. So you can see where we're going on this podcast. It's been 1 year, so now we're an old couple now, 1 year in. So you can tell he's fighting for power. That's where we're going. Yeah, exactly. That's what we both dressed in. Did we just match colors? I didn't even pay attention. Jesus Christ.
It doesn't technically count.
We are an old couple.
But that's what's fun. So with these, if I say anything really loud, if I have a microphone here, what I can do if I want to yell, I just turn my face away, so it still sounds like I'm yelling, but it doesn't blow you out. So there's compromises. I like talking like this.
I don't want to do the earmuffs when we get to, but maybe microphones or something like that we can do. I'm not doing the earmuffs thing.
Yeah, it's too much extra work too.
No, plus I don't like it.
It's just a bunch of extra bullshit.
It gets hot, and I just don't like it. Yeah. Like. You know, when you're on a roll like that, like stuff that make you feel weird is not. And again, if we get new people, it's another layer of nervousness that you don't need to add.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to talk to people like this. It's cool. Like it's conversation. Yeah. You put the thing on, I know it becomes official.
Yeah. Well, and that's why the format is still. There's a lot of industry around podcasts, but it still is it's like guerrilla radio still. You know, it really is.
And that's the good part about it. Yeah, that's why when I remember early where you guys have too much filler now. Yes, fuck you, because we're talking, because it's been a year, and if you're going to say that, that means you watched all of them.
All of them.
And took notes, and there you go. Yeah. Which some of you do, I acknowledge that fact, so you are allowed to say something.
But, so that's the setup, I guess. We have faulty cameras, insufficient microphones, and we're still here for you. So.
And we're using, by the way, I like when you say insufficient cameras. By that we mean there's one iPhone and one Pixel.
No. These are both pixels.
We're not even Apple anymore.
And
we're
just so you know,
Pixels right now.
These are Google Pixel.
Are you saying something about Macs?
What?
About iPhones? Are you saying the Pixel is better than the iPhone?
Not at all.
Okay, I thought you were starting a war.
I'm saying
Are you a green texter?
I'm saying my two old...
You're a blue texter.
What does that mean? Oh, I use iPhone.
Yes, iPhone, when you text, it's a blue thing. Yeah. When a guy uses an Android, it's a green text.
And it shows up pixelated.
Oh, Jackie used to lose her shit, like, I don't answer green text. I was like, wow, that's elitist. Exactly. You're from San Francisco, aren't you? Yeah.
So I think I don't even know what Pixel is Google on now, like the 4? Or
No, so the 3 is out, and the 4 is coming out.
Okay.
I got a Pixel 2. It's a good phone too. It's just if they could integrate better. There's a bunch of stuff they do better than the iPhone.
Yeah.
There's just the integration isn't there.
Yeah. But I think
camera-wise, they're better.
Yeah, I think the last 40 episodes of the 40 episodes of the podcast were filmed.
The camera is, like I talked to professional, the camera is better on the Pixels. Videos and pictures are better.
Yeah.
Bluetooth works better. There's a bunch of stuff, works better. They just can't do the hardware that integrates as well.
iOS is just easier. It feels good.
Fuck yeah.
It feels good.
No, but plus integrates everything. It's just better.
Yeah.
That one, I wish, trust me.
So, that's our technology review.
Exactly. So now we're going to a movie review and go see The Joker.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Don't tell me about it. I can't.
No, go see it. It's dark as fuck. Yeah. Like, you're going to leave the theater going like, it is not a movie where you're going to eat popcorn. Let me put it this way. No.
All right.
You will not eat popcorn on that one.
My only impression of it when I saw the previews was it's either going to be really good or it's going to be a bunch of quiet, low talking, and I'm not going to be interested in it.
No, it's really good, but it's the first half of the movie is hard to take.
Really?
You are so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable.
All right, I'm in.
And you see where he's the Joker, so it's fucking insane, literally. Yeah. But you go, oh, it's him, and he drags you down with him as he goes down the drain.
Yeah.
Into complete madness. And you go with him, like one step at a time. But it was, oh my God, like the balls on Joaquin Phoenix and the movie director, who's the guy who did Borat, by the way.
Yeah, oh really? No shit.
Yeah. And the two of them, you can tell, has been a long work together where they said, fuck it. And both of them were like, we're going full blown, full retard. they did their thing, which in today's world, for such a big movie, I admire so much.
Yeah.
Like, you're watching someone's movie. You know what I mean? Like, you're not even watching it going, do I like it or not? There's never a moment where I was like, do I like this or not? It's not what this is you're watching someone.
Nice.
And you know what I thought the greatest part is even if it's not the Joker, it would not matter. You don't have to know who the Joker is. You don't have to know it's a comic book. It's not. It's someone just march into madness.
And it is not a superhero movie necessarily,
right? At all.
There's not.
No, again, if it wasn't the Joker, it would still be the same exact movie.
Yeah.
It does not need to be the Joker. It could be anybody. And you would still watching the same way.
Because I just don't think I'm going to tolerate Ben Affleck rolling into that movie at this point.
Oh,
I'm going to check this really fast because I don't want to...
If I have one hope in life, because there will be a sequel to this, right? Because then the Batman has to face him as a Joker.
Yeah.
If you put Ben Affleck, I'm torching the movie theater. Yeah. Like there will be riots on that one. No, you cannot do it. You cannot put Ben Affleck in front of
I will say this,
Phoenix.
the Affleck Batman is supposed to be old man Batman. So this is the birth of Joker, if you will.
Yeah.
So hopefully then if they're going to introduce Batman...
But they have to.
Give me a new Batman.
It has to be a young one, yeah.
Give me a new
Batman.
Batman.
But like
Also there's been a lot of goddamn Batman movies. I don't need to see how Batman's parents died and becomes Batman in this fifth iteration of this. So if you're going to bring Batman in, we all know.
Yeah, exactly.
Spider-Man's the same way. I get it.
Yes, you get bitten by a spider.
We get it. We don't need an hour and a half of the first 2 hour movie.
To face Joaquin Phoenix, you're going to have the level of an actor, at least Christian Bale, darker. You know what I would like to see is a Batman movie in the same spirit. In the same spirit as that movie, which means you show Batman for the true fuck that he is, because he's a sick man as well. Like, he has issues, right? If you were to go that way with Batman, it's just one happens to be a fucking homicidal maniac, and the other one happens to be a non-homicidal maniac.
One just won't kill people. That's kind of a
But that's about it, right? They both have serious issues. If you were to go that route, that would put Batman and the two of them in such an interesting light. But you would have to be able to go for it.
Yeah.
And they can do it for the Joker because, again, it's almost, again, it doesn't matter if it's a Joker or not. You'll see what I mean. It's the same movie. I don't know that you can do that for Batman, or they will let it happen. Yeah. If they had the balls to do it, oh my God, I would. Like, this is almost like an old school movie stuff where the director is like, this is my vision.
Yeah.
You like it, you don't like it. But there's never a moment where I go, do I like that movie? It never mattered because I was watching somebody's life. And you don't like or dislike somebody's life. You're a witness.
Yeah.
That's what the movie felt like to me, like I was witnessing somebody's life. That was cool.
What's on my list now? Damn it.
Yeah, but don't bring the popcorn. Like it.
Don't bring the popcorn and don't bring the kid, I'm assuming.
Well, Yaya wants to go see it.
Yeah.
All right. I told her, I was like, honey, it's you will not leave the movie theater necessarily in a good mood.
So that is actually our movie review for the week.
Well, yeah, because that one is good.
So this week, though, we want to talk about, Now I have no idea the order with which we're putting out.
No, let's start with our conversation from yesterday.
Yep. So we want to get into the software hardware thing.
I thought it was because we started talking about bodybuilding, and then that led to something that you saw, and I thought, oh my God, that's a great software versus hardware conversation. Yeah. So go ahead.
So the first thing we were talking about is I was sending him images from what some of these bodybuilders are taking for drugs leading into a prep daily.
I thought it was weekly. I kid you not. Like when you sent it to me, I thought it was per week, and I was like, shit, he's taking a lot. And then I realized, no, it's per day.
Yeah. And I won't go into the whole list so as to not sound like I'm giving advice, but I will say this: there was about 15 compounds, and one of them,
the quantities,
7 to 9 IUs of human growth hormone a day. And I told Julian, I was like, that's like $20.
I thought it was 1 or 2 a day.
Yeah, that's like $180 a day on growth hormone alone.
But I thought it was 1 or 2 IUs a day.
I think that's like a kind of a low basic for...
I guess so. Yeah, so multiplied by 8. All good.
Yeah. $150 a day on growth hormone.
No, but dude, it's not even talking about the trend.
Yeah, that was advice to somebody that he was giving who doesn't take tren.
What was the other one? Dynabol?
I think he didn't take Dianabol. He took Anadrol, and then there was a bunch of other compensators for side effects.
He takes Anadrol and tren?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. What people? So somebody mentioned this the other day. So what people used to take back in the day was very often it's just a matter of testosterone, some Dianabol. It's kind of about it.
And by the way, TRT levels.
Yeah. And then, of course, guys would push that up, but like the way testosterone works, exogenous testosterone, you have a cup that can only hold this much at any given time. So if you fill the cup up with more, it's just running out. And what runs out, side effects, estrogen, aromatase, it's just, everything is now problematic the more you take beyond that. Some of those other things like growth hormone, it's not that way. Yeah. You pour more, the cup gets bigger.
Yeah.
So nowadays, these things come out. You have like tren, which is like 5 times as anabolic as testosterone, which isn't even on that list because that was advice for someone who doesn't want to take tren. But what I did is we started looking through this list.
Isn't tren the one that has the nastiest side effects?
The nastiest side effects. Oh. It's the strongest one.
That's a horse thing?
Yeah. It's made from basically livestock pellets that they give to horses, and then guys have to
make them humongous. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that level of intense drug use is out there. But what I started doing was paying attention to what I've known from talking to other people, what I've looked up about these compounds from a side effect standpoint. Because we always talk about software, hardware, and what I started noticing was there was trends as far as things that we see as markers for a sympathetic state. Water retention, and then there are some that just produce a little bit more fat than others too, that you're going to grow with.
Aggressiveness, anger.
So all of those things point to a general increase in sympathetic state, just fundamentally, right?
Right.
But then I break down to individual things.
Right, so that's that. Before we go into that, sorry, I don't know why I'm coughing only during the podcast now. We want to talk about a specific fact on this, because to most people, steroids is just a hormone that you take, and that basically affects the hardware. Mm-hmm. You start to produce muscle. Ta-da! Yeah. We know how this works. It's simple. Hormone equals muscle being built, and it's a complete hardware thing. Yeah. And actually, no, it is not nearly that simple. So, as you said, some of them are very specific effects on the sympathetic nervous system.
So, if we just go based on their ability to be effective, right? The most anabolic, if you will, from like most muscle with the least amount of fat gain, the most intense progress. You have compounds like tren, big, strong. Well, biggest side effects. Now that one isn't known for the most amount of water retention necessarily, but you talk aggression side effects. Yes. Everybody I know that takes anything will tell you, they'll say, it's like that joke on, the meme about Thanos, where he's like, did you take tren on this cycle? And then he's like, what did it cost you? And he's like, everything.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of people who be like, you have 2 options. You're going to either start taking tren, you better make sure you got a girlfriend who's likes to keep up with you sexually.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Or
you have a boner
or you need to not have a girlfriend, and you need to have a lot of options.
You want to have sex all day,
it's
right?
just,
that's what they all say.
Yeah. So that's kind of the way that.
So they're wrong about Viagra. People should take tren.
Yes. Well, because then you can get more jacked, and people might actually want to have sex with you. Start there.
That might be I think that's the problem with Viagra. It doesn't give you that.
Yeah, you got this, nothing to do with it. But then you go.
You're still the same person.
Yeah, but then as you go down to, let's say, some of the least, not effective, but the least side effect heavy, the ones that don't masculinize as much, the ones that don't cause as much water retention and cause hardness, like Winstrol, Anavar, those things. Those things are also not terribly anabolic, but very low on the scale of your sympathetic response. Yeah. You're not going to blow it up. There's not known for aggression.
That's what all
a lot of females
the figure athletes take, which I find crazy.
Because it's lean, hardness. But it also doesn't work fast. It's just not that strong. It's the ibuprofen to the OxyContin, if you will. It's just like
so you get leaner, but that's
you'll get it. It helps. That's why it exists.
Over time,
it's no trend. It's no Dianabol. Yeah. No. But those things like Dianabol, they're also known for some of those oral pills because, one, you stress the liver by taking anything orally. So you're going to have an increase in sympathetic state. You're also going to have, anybody who's taken it will tell you, you'll get big back pumps when you train.
I heard that one.
Not only when you train, sometimes when you just walk around. Some guys will get just debilitating pumps on their erectors and glute medius.
I heard that one. Right. So you can't explain that one from a hardware perspective.
No.
What I find very interesting about that and Dianabol is that this goes back to what we saw with Richard, with what we call the emotional mapping, is that the release of anger and the lower back blowing up. Mm-hmm. We've seen many times where people that cannot release anger blow up, keep the tension in the lower back and blow up their lower back exactly that. Lower back to glute med, it gets like super pumped and tight and everything, and that usually is associated with the lack of the incapacity to release anger. We see that on the sandbag and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I find it very interesting that the sandbag has the same effects on the body for some people as Dianabol does. Mm-hmm. So, which is funny because I made a joke about D-ball. To carry D-ball for blowing up your lower back. Most of people didn't get it. But actually it turns out there's a correlation. But I found that very interesting because you can't explain that one from a hardware perspective.
No, and
why would D-ball blow up your lower back?
And I haven't seen anything. And the only indicators that get pointed back from a hardware perspective is that, you're going to you just have increased blood volume. You have, so of course you'll get more pumps.
I know, but then
not
everywhere.
Like that.
But plus everywhere.
Yeah.
Why specifically the lower back?
And if you look at some old West Side training videos, you'll see those guys with, they'll have ice packs tucked in the back of their shorts between sets, just so they can stand up and get around.
Because their lower back is blowing up.
And it's just so pumped that you just can't do shit.
Yeah, so by the way, they're not in pain. They're just so pumped.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I talked to some pro bodybuilders. They were telling me they had to take painkillers for the pump. Mm-hmm. I was like, what do you mean? It was like, the pump gets so intense that it hurts so bad that they had to take painkillers so they can keep on training.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the most insane thing I've ever heard. But you get to that level,
But that tie-in, I think, is, like I said, this isn't some like fucking theory that I'm trying to pin down that I think
we know
is the beginning and end of it. But I think that I only see those correlations, and you could go into this hormone does exactly links to A to B to C to D to E chemically. Sure.
Yeah,
this is what happens inside the body.
True.
Sure.
But that doesn't tell us what is triggering it.
And I'm only looking, truthfully, because that's all they're doing either, I'm only looking at a correlation.
Yep.
And a correlation I see is as somebody's anabolic state goes up, in general, their sympathetic state has to respond, is going to respond in kind. Meaning that I don't believe you're not going to have more fight, more sympathetic state necessarily.
Oh, you're far
generally
angrier though.
Yeah, and then still be like gaining fat and losing muscle. So I just think
that's Melanocortin Axis.
Yeah, and that's it. We talk about the neoprene. We talk about all those things tie into that. Sympathetic is the key.
Yeah, every time.
To muscle.
But that brings on the causation versus correlation. So we know there's a correlation. So do they. But the idea is that taking the hormones raises the sympathetic. All right, but what if taking the hormone raises the sympathetic, and raising the sympathetic is what causes the muscle gain and all that stuff? Mm-hmm. What if it doesn't go from take hormones, get more muscle? What if you actually take hormones, raise the sympathetic level? That means producing more muscle and burning more fat. Yeah. And by the way, inflammation, because that's a sympathetic reaction. Yeah. So what if that's what those hormones do? They don't produce muscle. They create
an environment
where the muscle is being produced because the sympathetic is being triggered. And that would explain a lot of things.
And we talk about how those things are maybe just obviously they're effective. And from the chemistry standpoint, you can get to superhuman levels of the chemistry, which make you capable of more maybe. But the thing is all I see is that tie-in to sympathetic.
Yes.
That's it.
Right.
The other thing that's interesting, you talk inflammation, is the substances known the most for their healing properties, especially for tendons, things like that. You have like DECA, growth hormone, those things. Also too very high on the water retention scale also. So while they may not be the most anabolic things in the world, most intensely things in the world, they are very good at healing. And then of course those other markers start to pop up. It's like, okay, now you're...
Water retention. Yeah, so we're not saying there's a causation, but there's obviously a correlation.
Yeah.
But again, when we take steroids, like the effects on the nervous system are usually not discussed.
Yeah.
So again, what if it's the hormones creates an environment, but what if the current environment is the fact that it just jacks up the sympathetic nervous system, and that would be able to produce muscle. So we're not saying that...
Not saying the drugs only work because of the nervous system.
No, at all. Yeah. But there might be something in between what we think. Like, so drugs allow the muscle to do that, but we're not really explaining why.
Yeah. What I think about it a little bit, I kind of theorize that because they're kind of putting the drugs first, whereas normally testosterone itself is a response to activity, stress and activity, and so it's an adaptation response. We need more of this. So you put that in first, so there's a little bit skewed in that, so it's already a little backwards.
So it's supposed to be sympathetic to hormones to muscle, and instead they're going hormone, sympathetic, muscle.
Yeah, and but it may still, here's the deal, maybe if you took the drugs and they didn't give you a sympathetic response, maybe it would still kind of work better than not. Maybe.
But could they not give you a sympathetic response?
And this is my question, it's like, but the thing I see attached to it is that the muscle progress requires sympathetic.
Yes.
That's it. Meaning your body could just, so if someone wants to tell me testosterone just causes muscle gain, cool, I'll give you that. Then why does the body have to take on this sympathetic state?
Right.
At least get that dial turned up a little bit before.
And we see it all the time. But then again, if you say that, then you have to explain to me why people on the anabol have their lower back blow up, but nowhere else.
Yeah.
It's just basically lumbar erectors, and so by the way, ET muscles.
Exactly.
How come it only have anabol? Seems because like you can ask bodybuilders, you can ask powerlifters. I talk to many, and they say the same shit every time. It's your lower back blows up, like you're massively pumped in ET muscles. That spells sympathetic. And by the way, going into the food, the nutrition stuff, we saw that people that take steroids respond differently to the protocol. Like the whole fat burning stuff, it's not fat burning. Fat burning, they're very good at it on steroids. The problem is fat consumption. Digestion of fat is a bigger issue. They love to have carbs. But what if I love to have carbs because they're in sympathetic all day at nth degree, so they can just have carbs all day and
plus
activate
what's your body
the fat
demanding
burning.
If you're constantly in that state? You're not coming fully back down off that sympathetic state. So what's your body need? Your brain need necessarily. I need some fucking carbs.
Yeah, glucids. So carbs will eat. But by the way, carbs will feed the sympathetic state, which needs to be fed at some point because you're triggering artificially so much, right? And we talk to them and they go, bodybuilders don't like to have high fat stuff. But if they're in sympathetic all the time, I mean, their digestion would not be great.
Yeah.
And so that would basically mean like, no, carbs. And so fat is, you can't have too much fat. By the way, if you want to overeat, you can't do it on fat, you'll get sick.
Yeah.
If you want to overeat, it's going to have to be carbs.
Yeah.
And by the way, since they have protein all the time, maybe they need to up the carbs even more.
Yeah.
Which is the more protein means more carbs, more protein means more carbs. And then you can get to 300 pounds and then you just, if you want to get bigger, just up the dosage and up the food. And then you have that more is better objective-based stuff.
Yeah.
Right, so that would make sense. The problem that people don't seem to understand is how far this has gone. The problem is we're still taking advices on nutrition from them. Yeah. From people that are not nearly close to a human being, hormonally speaking, anymore. Like I was watching the Louis Simmons, the West Side documentary. And so TRT level, people that are over the age of 35 or whatever that takes testosterone, take about 100 milligrams a week?
100 to 200 a week.
A week, 100 to 200 a week. If I were to do TRT, man, I wouldn't, thank God the girlfriend could put out with, anyway. So no, I'm not on it. I don't take TRT. I don't, again, you know what I should have done with the neoprene and all that stuff is checking my hormonal levels before the neoprene and after. Yeah. I need to do a blood work and show that what I do works anyway.
Do you think there's a cheap way to test that? like a on-the-fly way to test that?
Oh yeah, right. With urine.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But that would
okay,
be cool.
I'll check because I want to do this. I want to start testing all that stuff to have it. Yeah. But so I was watching TRT, which is around 100, depending on how big you are, obviously 100 to 200 grams a week. And the guys at, I think it's Dave Tate, who was saying the magic starts at 5 grams.
I don't even know if
like,
that's
5 grams
possible.
what? Yes.
That's crazy.
I know, I don't want to give names, but I know, I'll tell you after, like a specific powerlifter, sorry, who competed at 220 and 242 with world record stuff,
Yeah.
who was well over 2.
That's fucking crazy.
2 grams a week. So he's taking 20 times the amount of a TRT level. Like Victor Belfort,
Yeah.
TRT level, the dude is taking that 20 grams. And they were saying that most of the results get at 5 grams. That's a year.
Normally, that's 10 times what a normal, like a person doing steroids would do.
No,
Also.
but that's a
crazy.
year of TRT level a week. So you know that at Westside they were saying they don't talk in cc's anymore, they talk in bottles?
Yeah.
Like that shit has gone to a point. So bodybuilders take insulin now.
Yeah.
That's been going on for a while,
Yeah.
like, to get bigger and everything. Like, by the way, you want to do that? I have no issue whatsoever. You do you. I do me. You do you. I have no problem whatsoever. The only thing is we have to come to the realization that the conversation cannot be the same.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
all.
Yeah, and so that's the thing. It's like that person's if they have an understanding of how things work, then certainly he can tell the average person. But you cannot tell the average person do what I do.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we're gonna have to have a different conversation on nutrition as well.
Yeah,
because your nervous system is not. I don't know how it works anymore.
Do you think that's a lot of why things like macros are not as universally fucking transferable as people think?
Yeah, because even food composition.
Yeah.
So now, because there's a lot of guys out there that give nutrition advice on you have to have high carbs and stuff like that. But now that I'm starting to look, a lot of them are on steroids. They just don't say it. But if you ask them directly, they tell you. But I'm like, okay, but then your nervous system is not the way mine works. My problem with that is not, again, like I have no issue with it whatsoever. I'm not doing any, but you can go, you can go and do it. I have no problem whatsoever with that. But suddenly your nervous system is functioning in a way that I don't understand. Mm-hmm. So what I do, the protocol, I don't think would necessarily work for you.
Yeah.
So if you come to me and you say high fat doesn't work, I'd be like, that's weird. Because your system now is different.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm dealing with an alien race.
Yeah.
Well, like, I don't know. If you're in sympathetic all day, I'm guessing less fat, more carbs. I guess.
But my question is, can that be fixed, do you think? I mean, can that be moderated? Like, do you just need to toughen the fuck up and just have some fats, be gradual?
Right, but again, if you're in sympathetic all day, your digestion system has to suffer though. So how can you digest? Fats are not as hard to digest as protein, but if you're gonna overeat or stuff like that, you overeat on fat is gonna be rough, man. Yeah. So you could be lean all year, but like a bulking face. Yeah. On steroids, that might be rough to do. Like honestly, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to do it without carbs. It's interesting. There's a guy there, John Anderson's a strongman bodybuilder, WWE guy, total drug guy, if you will.
Yeah, but powerlifter, strong as shit, good strongman.
But he's always said he does high fat, almost no carb constantly. And granted, he's been in the game for a long time, but
and he's lean all year long.
Lean all year long, like
very lean all year long.
And so anybody that comes, and obviously I'm pointing out an outlier, but like when someone comes to me, I can't get big. It's like, okay, but like this guy is, and. Can we just say that it is possible, and then can we work around it? Right? Can we meet where you are?
You're 300 pounds and 230.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can't. The people I say I can't get big, weigh 180.
Yeah.
Right. I'm 230. You're 300. So obviously we managed to get plenty big on the protocol. But my issue that I see is that there's a lot of advices on high carbs out there. I'm not saying that people advise high carbs are on steroids. I'm just saying there's a lot of the culture of high carbs has been promoted at least by people that are on steroids, which I believe changes the game, because if steroids change the nervous system, then naturally it changes the way you're going to respond to food.
Certainly. Well, look at how, it's very simple. Look if you look basically, if you take something like testosterone, even if you're on TRT versus someone who's not, you may have actually the same levels of testosterone in your system, okay?
Right.
Because you take TRT to match what a normal person would have. However, you're spreading your TRT out.
Yeah.
Also, your doses are then going to go up, down, and maintain like that. If you sleep bad, you're already shut down.
Yeah.
So your testosterone levels will no longer be responding positively or negatively to anything that you do because it's shut down. Your body recognizes it has what it needs, so balls are off.
Yeah.
And so then you get to the point.
I'm definitely not doing it. Yes.
Small potatoes make the steak look bigger. But
that's a great way of saying it.
Now I don't even know where the fuck I was. Oh, but so let's say you get a couple bad nights sleep, right?
Yeah.
Testosterone on the normal.
And if you happen to be toward the end of the week,
or you have a big, heavy, nasty training session, you get crushed, you're a little under recovered, or you undereat, your levels are not going to dive if you're taking even a basic medical level. They're not going to take that tank like they do from somebody who's normal, which means training and recovery still need to be addressed always on an individual basis. The rules are different.
Right. So you won't tank anymore like that. That means you won't learn from it.
Exactly.
But you also won't tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll have a artificial, consistent recovery system.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But again, like that, for me, it's an issue because suddenly I don't know how to handle the protocol anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure what your reactions. I don't know what your reactions are going to come from.
Yeah.
Like if you're sympathetic all day, and then on top of it, I can't pull from my own resources because I don't know how it feels. So then suddenly I'm like, shit. So because I had that issue once or twice. Yeah. But again, it brings the problem of outside sources of nutrition that telling you to do stuff when they say it works. Yeah, but if those are people taking steroids, the problem is not that they're taking steroids. The problem is that they're not the same breed of person that you are anymore. So therefore...
Well, look at something as simple as fasting, right?
Yeah.
Take a 12-hour fast for someone who is not just on steroids. Let's go TRT.
Let's do TRT.
12-hour fast for someone on TRT is going to go... they're not probably going to get into a catabolic state.
Right, because they're maintaining no matter what.
They're able to maintain an anabolic state, which means that 12-hour fast will actually probably benefit them a lot in the leanness department.
Right.
They will lose more fat and less muscle during that 12-hour fast than someone who is.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to maintain a good physique and maintain muscle size as a priority, and you're on drugs, that's a good format, actually. As long as you're not trying to bulk, because then then for the average person, someone who's totally natural, it's just not the same. During that fast, there's going to be a dip. Now that might still be good for you. And in general, if you're trying to get leaner, I think it will still help, but it's going to cost you more in the muscle. And it's going to cost you
because you're less consistent anyway. Yeah, no, but that changes everything. By the way, that changes training because that consistency. Why am I? One second. Where am I? I'm coughing so much this morning. Do I have allergies again?
Shit. Probably just me. Maybe you're allergic to my dog.
Yeah, there we go. I feel like I'm having allergies again. Like for example, someone who's taking TRT can maintain that base level of muscle. Yeah. That means you could get away with doing a body part once a week. Mm-hmm. If you're not taking steroids, then within 3 days, you'll start to dip on the level. So that requires you to do the same body parts more often. Mm-hmm. Right? And you can't blast them as much volume-wise as you could as on steroids, because again, your recovery will not be the same.
And the volume is different also as well with people that are on drugs. So someone who's taking steroids is actually going to do, believe it or not, much less high percentage work than someone who is not.
But
because you need that work in order to get a hormonal response also.
Often.
And so for somebody who's on drugs, they don't need it for the hormonal response, they need it for the work. Factor in the elevated sympathetic state. Right. You have someone training maybe a little more towards the edges, technically wise. Anyways, so you get them there. They need to do their work not at the extremes because one, they are stronger. Yep. The risk is higher.
Yes.
And
there's a whole
they get more bang for their buck on the stimulus and the recovery. Right. So your point of diminishing returns, if you're on drugs, actually is scaled a little bit back down from the higher percentage.
So they can do higher volume once a week.
Yeah, and they just and so you'll see your natural guys in a program like Westside often and their teams. Your natural guys will actually be often, not always, but often will be doing more work above 80% than your people below. It's just required.
Yeah, so you do less volume but higher intensity work from percentage and from the.
And I believe a lot of that is because of the fluctuations as well. That you're going to have more valleys, deeper valleys in your system throughout a day.
Because I've noticed I need to train like the whole do the body part once a week does not work for me.
Yeah.
I need to do work often. Right, otherwise the muscle just get flat fast. I need to press often. I need to do the whole pressing once a week. No, I need to press twice a week. I can do back stuff once a week, but I've noticed I need to do less volume but much harder training. That's what I read about, and more often. So I need to do really hard training more often with less volumes of set, but the body part more often. Yeah. I mean, I don't do body part, I do upper, lower body, but same idea. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a lot of wild theorizing on my part, but all I saw was the same dot and the same trends moving as I started kind of plotting.
But at least he shows that there has to be a correlation with the nervous system and the steroids, which explains a lot of stuff with the nutrition protocol.
Which that's the thing for me is I don't need anything to definitively tell me that a sympathetic state will create muscle gain. All I need to know is in an environment that creates muscle and loses fat includes that. Meaning, all right, maybe that's not the key, but it's got to be an ingredient.
I believe it is, but no matter what, it's an ingredient. I believe it's the key.
So let's talk neoprene.
It's software versus Why is the neoprene working?
Yeah,
because it's what we saw. We have the numbers now. What we saw can only be explained from the result on a hardware level can only be explained through a hormonal change. Yeah. So we haven't measured it yet, but we will, and I bet you that's what we'll find because we've seen muscle gain at a speed that rivals steroids. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But with the nutrition the way we do it, which I find very interesting. So I think that if we do correctly, we could be gaining, which is a holy grail, which is gaining muscle while staying lean. Mm-hmm. I believe with the nutrition protocol, the way it is done, and with the neoprene and the hostile environment, we could produce the hormonal response we're looking for while recovering through the saturated fat and the protein, which would allow you to stay lean, be in control of yourself because you're not using the carbs, but that's the last podcast, while still gaining muscle. Yeah. So we could have the effects of, maybe not the effects of what the bodybuilders are doing, but the effects of a high TRT training.
Well, I think the trend will just... Yeah. I just think that type of training is important to maintain healthy hormone levels as well.
Anyway, but even I think we could. So I think the protocol and the neoprene would achieve something that equals a TRT stuff, but without the side effects.
Yeah, and so that's why I asked about. Boy, it would be really nice if there was a breathalyzer test for your testosterone level that you could. No,
but I think there's a urine one, so maybe I'll try to order.
I just wonder how much they cost because I think it would be.
I'll buy it.
But I mean, it would be nice to have them more consistently, almost like a blood glucose monitor.
Yeah, I'll do it. I don't mind doing it once a week. I'll pay for it and then I'll do it once a week because I'm very curious to know what my testosterone levels are because I know what the neoprene does. Yeah. Last night I was really tired from the workout too. Now I'm at a completely different state. I have the neoprene, which of course makes me go fully sympathetic, but there's an extra person in the room now. Okay. That I cut the caffeine and the carbs. That's the best way I can explain it. There's the whole Super Saiyan is still there with the neoprene, but there's another person in the room now that looks at what's happening. It's a very strange feeling. Really? And yesterday was a very good training session. I got home and I went to bed at 9:30 last night. I was so fucking tired. I was exhausted at 5. Yeah. I was like, shit. But that brings, this is another level to the protocol and the neoprene training. Now I'm entering a third level where, so I cut all carbs, all caffeine, all stimulants, and it's literally I'm still getting the fucking neoprene thing, but with a person in the room an extra person that tells me to look at what I'm doing. It's a very. So
it's almost like the neoprene is still giving you the capacity to fight the hostile environment, but the clearer head, clearer signals of all the other stuff. The behavior fix now is so now we have the killer and we have the poet.
Exactly. Now we do. That's the thing is the killer can think now. Yeah. So it's a very strange feeling in that sense. Before it was all sympathetic. I just don't think for an hour, just blast. Yeah. Now I can do that. But there's a voice in the back that allows me to have a distance between me and the weight where I'm there's not you feel oh my God, I'm not recovered. No, it's all right, so I'm talking so you're going to look up and I'm talking to myself. So it's like the poet is talking to the killer and back and forth.
Yeah.
So there's another person in the room. That's the best way I can explain it. It's a very interesting feeling. So yesterday ended up being a very good training session because very hard physically, but technical as well, and very composed mentally. So now I'm very curious to see what it would mean in competition, because it doesn't grab anymore. You know, like you fail a set or stuff like that, and you're like, oh my God. It's like, no, it's okay, so I'm going to do this. It's a very interesting thing. I'm very curious to see what happened in competition. Like in a stressful environment, how I would respond.
And you're sleeping significantly more.
Fuck me.
Same quality, but for longer.
So it's the same quality. It's just my dreams. So this is how I wake up in the morning. That's why I know to get out of bed, is my dreams become shitty. Like I have good dreams, and at some point I can't control the dream. It turns into a negative format. Sometimes it's zombies. Sometimes it's like I'm doing weird stuff. It's basically I'm like, all right, I'm out.
What is happening?
Whatever. That's it. And so I'm like, I get up, and usually it's 6:30, and I put my clothes on. I'm down. Except right now it's 8.
Yeah.
So I've gained 90 minutes of sleep of the same quality as before.
Sleep, basically, yeah.
Fuck me. So I wake up in the morning. I'm like, what? It's light, because I used to wake up 6:30. This morning I woke up at like 8:15, but that's been 3 days in a row now. Yeah. Since I've stopped being tired, like, you know, the first 5 days of the new protocol, I was fucking, but again, I wasn't tired, but at the time it felt like tired. And now I'm not used to how I feel. Mm-hmm. So it's very hard for me to explain, because so during the day yesterday I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired, but I didn't fall asleep. I managed to go through my day, even though I was like, that training session fucked me up, because I trained earlier too. Instead of 4, I trained at noon. So I was like, all right, so I got a whole day.
Now everything's weird.
After the podcast, I was like, I'm tired right now, right? But we went to the restaurant with Yaya, and I'm fine. I'm just not extremely energetic, but I'm like, all right. But then I went to bed at 9:30. I read my books. I must have, lights off by 10:30. So I must have slept 10 hours. Fuck. Of quality sleep too. So I woke up this morning going like, what was that? This is like 3 out of the last 4 nights or some shit like that. And by the way, I came back from the US 5 days ago. So I was jet lag on the first 2-3 days too. So I'm like, that is so weird. And it feels different. Like there's an extra person in the room always now. Like I'm here. It feels like I live in the present way. I'm not distracted. That's the best way, I guess, I could explain it. I don't feel distracted all the time. There's another person in the room talking to me.
You're looking at me like, and Tyler, you have no idea what it feels like to not be distracted, do you? I'm like,
exactly, right.
As I look at the cameras, November's gonna be weird for me.
Yeah, but so I can. So 2 things. I can understand how people in November are gonna feel very strange. Mm-hmm. I feel you on that. It's strange like that, but. So now, not that I'm worried, but at the same time, like there is a sizable part of the population that we deal with that is on steroids. Yeah. Because again, like even the affiliation that is not an affiliation that we're going to do is going to include powerlifting gym, strongman gym. Fuck, I'm going to have to figure out the protocol and all that shit for people that are on steroids.
It's like, I hate to break it to you, drugs are a part of sports that allow drugs. And also some that don't. So.
Yeah, but the ones that allow drugs are definitely a part. That's one of the reasons strongman. I was like, some of my friends
the ones who do drugs in sports that don't allow drugs, those are cheaters.
Yes, exactly. The other ones, they don't cheat.
Just people.
But some of my friends were telling me this is what I do, and I was like, right. So I'm never making it as a pro. And anyway, whatever. But I'm gonna have to study this because I don't know how that it will work the same. I don't know that it will work the same, yes or no. That's the problem, is I don't know. So now I'm going to have to study this, because not on me, obviously, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how that's going to work.
The nice thing is...
With the neoprene works if you're taking steroids? My guess is yes, but I haven't tried yet.
Yeah, or is the impact a little bit reduced? Because the effects of 0 to sympathetic, you're already starting at 50 and now
if they're already high in sympathetic, what if the neoprene gets them even higher? What does that mean?
Yeah, is there a point where it's too
What if
much?
he turns the muscles on more? Because they're already on. What happens then? I have no idea.
Yeah, or do you run the risk of having all your compensators overcompensate, all your bad compensations?
But no, normally the muscle in freeze should work better. But what if a muscle in freeze starts firing while on steroid? Does that produce such a force of contraction or stuff like that?
Does it create problems?
Does it create problems?
Or does it create more soreness?
So you have, but imagine, like the lower back stuff, so emotional mapping. You have a muscle in freeze because of trauma, whatever. How does the system work of emotional mapping? I don't know. I don't know why your glutes turn off, but we know, for example, lower back, you don't express anger, it gets fully pumped. Why? I don't know, but it seems to be a process. Why? You have a muscle in freeze. You're on steroids, it still doesn't turn on. I put the neoprene, it turns on. Right, so there's going to be a massive improvement in that muscle, higher than other people. Does that mean you're going to release more stuff?
Is it too much? Yeah.
But that means more trauma. What if that was in freeze because of a trauma? Does that mean I'm going to release it more?
Well, and that,
differently?
That process of freeze, and then you gradually get the muscle to fire
at your own pace.
Exactly. That I view that difficulty is a pacing mechanism because, like you said, very often traumas and things like that are stored there because you can't deal with it.
So you deal with it at your own pace.
Yeah.
But now that you're on steroids, does that mean that that the pace is different? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So now, like as we get further into this, I'm gonna have to have some dudes. Guys, you're gonna have to help me on this. We're gonna need to study all this.
Y'all want to take drugs?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not doing TRT even. So like that's the shit.
So like, I think though that another thing that's interesting. I wanted to just drop this one last thing into, one more thing in, because you were talking about sleep. Sort of. Was also a lot of these stronger compounds. One of the very common side effects that many people have is trouble sleeping and night sweats.
I could imagine.
And it's like, so yes, you have this intense sympathetic state that then doesn't diminish due to your circadian rhythms.
Yes, exactly.
That now you're trying to sleep in a sympathetic state. And you want to wonder, maybe that's why these guys have to consume 500 grams, 400 grams of protein a day, because maybe they're not processing but 200. And then they have to take the rest as collateral damage because you're just taking the good with the bad.
By the way, the fact that you're going against circadian rhythm, I bet you from a free energy principle, you produce such a shit ton of free energy, so stress level and everything. I would love to see the cancer possibility on this. If Paul Davis is right that it's like a atavistic response to stress. If you were continuously against your circadian rhythm, that would be a continuous cause of stress. Where I would love to see.
Well, maybe we talk about where maybe there's like you said, with the neoprene and the back and all those things that maybe that's it. So I'm telling you, we're talking the correlation between sympathetic and muscular.
Correlation,
but
for sure.
let's say
causation, we don't know.
But now though, let's just say that there is got to be a point where it is too much. Not just the drugs, but there's got to be maybe too much sympathetic.
Yes, there has to be.
Right, because that is the crash.
But and by the way, the arch cannot be sustained.
Yeah.
Right, so eventually that's going to take you to flight anyway.
So while we spend most of this episode pointing out that how important it is, it still has to hold its place, and that you still need to come down.
That's why, that's why more steroids is not the answer.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, look at what the guys take now compared to the 90s.
Yeah,
they're not better.
Yeah, no, not at all.
They're not better. Like the idea that more is better has been proven by the bodybuilding world, by the way, and it shows you that the guys now are taking stuff that are out of this world compared to the 90s, who barely started with growth hormone then.
When you talk about
they don't look better.
Talk about setting objectives versus constraints. The objective became when the judges started to reward size. Not just symmetry, leanness, aesthetics as much, but size outweighed everything. And so that's when you had that from the Ronnie Coleman era to now. You looked at me like it wasn't working.
No, I'm looking like it's an hour. That's why.
Yeah, we're about to. And so from like kind of the Ronnie Coleman era up, like right past there, where things got big, and to where it's like it's not that good to look at. Everybody,
but the conditioning is that
same version. Yeah,
the spongy. That's the insulin.
Yeah.
They don't look nearly as good as the 90s. So the more is better. But I believe it's because they sacrificed training for the chemistry set.
Yeah.
90s was all about training.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
You had help, but it was all about training. Now it's just about taking the right drugs.
Yeah, no, I don't normally say anything in confidence that anyone's told me in confidence publicly, except Bill told me this in an interview that I think 70,000 people have seen on YouTube before. So Bill Kazmaier even said outright, he was like, back in my day, our chemistry set was very limited. And he said, because I had asked him how he thought he would be able to hold up with all these giants nowadays. Yeah. And his exact words, bless his heart, because Bill's doesn't have a filter. So he just flat out says, this is, by the way, 5 minutes after he told me that he believes that there used to be 50-foot tall people walking the earth. I fucking love Bill Kazmaier, by the way. But the whole time I'm like, Bill, I don't know if I can put this out there. No, that's a weird thing to drop in the middle of this interview.
It makes the rest of the interview a bit hard.
Yes.
But yeah.
But anyway, he tells me that, he said, but now, he said, with what these guys have for chemistry, for doctors, and nutrition now, he was like, Bill's like, I competed at 350 at my peak. He was like, there's no doubt that with what these guys are taking now, that I would be 400 and probably more durable. 400 pounds and more durable if this was back then. And he said,
people forgot 6'3", 350 lean.
Yeah.
Bill Kazmaier was a
Bill
scary
Kazmaier
man.
is a terrifying man.
Yeah.
And so, but he flat out says, he was like, the drugs now are not what they were then.
Yeah.
They are much, 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 much better. So it's a very different, what I say, like for you, when you talk about looking into these things to figure it out, the one benefit is all of those are mostly pharmaceuticals, except for like the horse drugs.
Yeah.
But most of those are pharmaceuticals, which means they are studied, not studied for what we're talking about, but there's information out there on them.
Yeah.
Which is good to get to see trends.
No, for sure, but I need someone to explain to me, this is how it feels when I have fat, this is how it feels when I have carbs. I need to see what the software repercussions are, because most of the study I'm going to read, it's going to be hardware. Yeah. I need to know where the software is doing.
Yeah.
And by the way, so you guys know, I popped my ankle in the left ankle. When I was in Brazil, I was going down like it was almost dry waterfall, just an ankle, and I slipped. My foot got stuck, and I popped on it. Major stop. So my ankle was that big. They wanted to give me anti-inflammatory. And I said no, because that just kills your
I at least
your
need
healing.
inflammation for a little bit.
Yes, exactly. That would kill the healing process. I was like, I don't want to do that. But I was in pain, and I was like, what I need is to increase the muscle. So what I did is I had one shot of Deca Durabilin in my calf for 3 weeks. So one shot a week for 3 weeks, like a simple 100 meter, whatever it was. And I have to say, that helped on the pain level. So before that, I could barely walk. After the shot, within 20 minutes, I felt better, wrapped my ankle, and I could walk around within a week. I had 3 shots, and he helped me healing my ankle a lot better than that fucking anti-inflammatory they wanted to give me, which would have eaten muscle away, kept the inflammation at bay, which means no healing process and none of that stuff. Yeah. I'm not saying to do it out there. I'm not advising to do it. I'm just saying I did it, and for me, it worked really well, and I believe a lot better than anti-inflammatory. Yeah. So I'm telling you to say, at least I tried Deca, and so I have no issue with steroids. Like for example, strongmen, they don't test. So I could go and take all the shit that I want. I'm 46, I'm not doing it. Yeah. I got a kid, I got a business and everything, and I'm not doing that. So that, like, I'm going to compete next year. I will compete, but not taking that shit. But it's just to tell you, I have no issue with the whole idea, like the old cheaters and everything. First of all, if you're tested and you're told not to do it, yes, you're cheating. But I don't like how people are being attacked, for example, on the tainted supplements. Now, again, some of them are lying, obviously, but not all might not be lying. Yeah. And my problem with people criticizing athletes with the steroid stuff is like, if you guys are taking supplements out there, if you guys had Progenex and all that shit, there's a very high likelihood that you took stuff that would not allow you to pass a test in competition either. So I don't like people on high horses.
No.
They're like, oh, you guys do that. Yeah, but your supplements, go get them tested. Chances are, trust me, the clenbuterol is in your whatever allows you to get leaner. There's some kind of a pro-hormone in the stuff that allows you. When you have drug 3D, you're on amphetamines. Like all that, guess what? That's why, by the way, I take 0 supplements. I'm being asked all the time, I don't take any. I have casein at night because I mix it with my heavy cream, but that's it. I don't do anything. Yeah. Right, but that also shows you, and one of the reasons I do nothing is because I want to show that the protocol works. Yeah. So I don't take anything.
Yeah, an isolated case.
Right, because if I'm not isolated, then how do I know the protocol works? Yeah. If I were to be on TRT level and I do the protocol, I could not tell you that it works on someone who's not on it.
You could easily then just say like, no, I take TRT. I'm just maintaining normal, healthy levels of testosterone. Right. But that's not fucking true either because you're not fluctuating.
Yes, that's not true.
You're only fluctuating based on timing of when you did your thing.
But in a way now it becomes a weakness in our argument in the sense of, yes, so the protocol works with a neoprene, but in an unaltered state. Yeah. So if you are taking stuff, by the way, so going back to supplements, what if they take stuff that have pro-hormones in it and JAK3D and all that stuff? Would the protocol work the same for them? Most likely, no.
Yeah.
So now we're facing, and back to the problem with the fitness industry, now we are facing people that are not, from a software perspective, on the same playing field. Yeah. Not saying better or worse. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the problem is your software reacts differently than mine because of the shit you're taking.
Well, and things also happen that way because of everything like genetics and environment and where you're at.
Anyway,
with food
right?
and all those
Anyway,
things.
but that stuff might switch completely the conversation. Yeah. If you're in a but that's the problem is if you take supplements that have shit in it, and I think most of them have some kind of illegal shit in it, you have altered levels. Your software is being altered artificially, which means on a consistent basis. You're taking every day. There's a peak every day that is artificial, but therefore will not change. Whereas mine goes up and down all the fucking time because it depends on what my environment does to me. But if you have artificially creating that, you will be less reactive. So you'll be very reactive to the environment on the stress level, but the hormonal level might not be as the same kind of reaction that I would get. Yeah. So that might complicate things as well from a study of nutrition, of study of training.
But I think that's why as you go through the stuff with the nutrition with people, especially new people, it is here are the principles of how a system of software needs to be, right? It's just like when we talk about diagnosis. I believe that this is how the process is supposed to work. Here's the reasons why. Here's all the thing around it. That's an apple. You're not an apple right now.
What if you take antidepressants?
You're sleeping 5 hours a night.
What if you take anti-anxiety pill? What if you take antidepressants? What if you sleep 5 hours a night? All those stuff.
You have fucking five coffees before you leave the house in the morning.
But then you have sleeping pills at night.
Yeah, and so those things, it's like we can take this and know that this maybe is right.
Yeah.
But
the application,
this person, we can't just lump this onto this person.
Because remember,
and that's when we talk. As long as you have that approach, I believe you then can figure it out as you start moving things around. Whether someone is unhealthy, on drugs, doesn't sleep well, is
sleeping pills,
crazy,
antidepressant,
is addicted to carbs, is whatever. You know, I think
you will have to adapt it to yourself because this is what we do is based on the software, and the software can be, I believe, dramatically change through the enteric nervous system. So whatever you are absorbing will change the behavior, will change the expression of the software, right? So we want to study something. Let's look at supplements, steroids, and everything, and epigenetics, what it does and all that stuff. That'd be fascinating. But so that also means, to go back to Tyler's point, that you're going to have to adapt all that we do to you. Yeah. Because if you are
that's not a one-time thing. That's what I mean. I mean, too, that's not, okay, cool, so I do all these. It's like, no. You don't get to keep sleeping 5 hours a night.
Yes.
That's not how this works.
You're going to have to clear that
So
up,
we're going to get this moving, but now you have to take all that and keep shifting and dropping and moving.
Until we can get you to 7-8 hours of sleep, until we can get, and the idea is still, let's get you to full nights of sleep, not artificially, by yourself. Let's get you to TRT level of testosterone, but not through an injection, through your training and the protocol. And let's get you leaner, but without the clenbuterol. Let's do it through normal food. Because you have to understand, all that stuff, because of the enteric nervous system, which I believe is the seat of behavior, changes your behavior. You are not you on a very, very deep level because of that stuff. So the key eventually would be to clean up all that so you can be truly you. Yeah. So you can add that person in the room, which is what basically it feels, which is a very strange experience. I was always addicted to carbs. I'm the first one to say, always. Chocolate, the stuff, sugar and carbs, always. And when I cut the sugar, that was a major one. But now taking the carbs, and now so I was addicted to sympathetic fixes. Yeah. It was never alcohol, it was never drugs, it was never all that stuff, but carbs and sugar, oh my God. Yeah. Women. So I'm not quitting now. I have one, I'm good. But I realize the reason I want everybody, and that's why the No Fix November, right, is, and I don't expect people to have a full realization like I did in 1 month, because I'm on the protocol for like 14, 15 months, and then I got myself off of carbs, and then now I'm getting myself off caffeine. So it was a very gradual process that I don't expect people to get to in a month. In fact, you will not get through it in a month. What I'm trying to do is to show you that you are not yourself, that all those stimulants change fundamentally how you express yourself. Like your real self cannot be expressed because of all that stuff. And we are not talking about it because we're not talking about the software, especially in the medical world. And we are not understanding the importance of the interact system as the seat of behavior. So consumption of that stuff changes the expression of who you are. It's like the epigenetics of the soul, if you want. It's changing the way you're expressing the basic, your basic self.
You just fucking made that up right now, didn't you?
Yeah.
Epigenetics for the soul. I fucking hate you.
Of the soul.
That's so good.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it just came out right on the spot, right?
Listen, I'm not even gonna follow that. I'm not gonna expect you to follow that.
There you go.
It's gold. Epigenetics for the soul.
Of the soul.
Of the soul. Of the soul. That's right.
Epigenetics of the soul.
Epigenetics of the soul. That's fucking brilliant.
That's what the No Fix November is. That's your.
I'm on it.
That is the next banner.
I'm on it.
No Fix November, epigenetics of the soul.
Epigenetics of the soul. All right, that's perfect. It's perfect. We got a new catchphrase.
Yeah.
Everything, I have to go through the stuff. So you have to look disinterested while I read. Okay?
Yeah.
StrongFit.com, StrongFitEquipment.com. That's for the seminars, sandbags, apparel, shirts, all the good stuff. StrongFitEquipment.eu.
Actually, no, let me talk to myself.
Okay. JuliansCorner.com is for this, where this guy, you can find him. Me, Tyler F. and Stone. He's StrongFit1 on Instagram. Richard's Rare Barracuda, Kayla's UK32. I missed something. Podcast support page, podcast.strongfit.com. If you want to help support the podcast, that's the spot.
Did we make $35?
Oh, no, we made a lot more than that.
Really?
Well, I should have said that. It's not a lot more, but it's more than that.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're going to dinner tonight.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but that's got us all wrapped up. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.